Hey, welcome back to Midas Letter Live. I forgot where I was there for a second. My next guest is Anthony Dutton. He's the CEO of Cannex Capital Holdings, trading on the CSE under the symbol CNNX. Anthony, welcome back.
A pleasure to be here.
Anthony, today I'd like to talk to you about a acquisition in progress that you have going on with a company called Ametrine Wellness, Inc., which owns a company called Jetty Extracts.
Correct. So we refer to them as Jetty. The holding company is, of course, Ametrine. And yes, they are a processing extraction company based in Oakland's Green Zone. Phenomenal brand across California. Mm-hmm. And the opportunity for us is really to take that very strong local regional brand and build it out, from north to south right across California. As you and I have talked about before, cannabis is moving towards a consumer branded goods market. On the recreational side, it'll be competing with beer, wine, chocolate, whatever your comfort food is. And brand is going to become increasingly important, and we see the Jetty brand as having some phenomenal potential.
Yeah. The consumer-facing brands is also where all the margin is, as I understand it, relative to being a producer who increasingly is under sort of commodity pricing in the United States. So that was attractive. Now, the Jetty brands makes a whole variety of products, including extracts for vapor consumption, extracts that go into edibles, and I was shocked to see that they're actually available in over 600 locations in California already.
That was 600 locations in 2017. As you know, there's been a bit of a licensing change in California, so that number did dip at the beginning of 2018, although it's ramping up very rapidly as new and sometimes the older stores are getting relicensed under the new regime, if you will. So California is going through a little bit of a sea change in terms of its licensing, but we are doing very, very well in the newly licensed dispensaries. We also have a very strong relationship with a company called Ease, which is literally a distribution/delivery platform. You pick up the phone, you call them, and some Jetty product shows up at your house 45 minutes later. It's pretty amazing, to be quite frank.
Ease is actually the largest delivery platform in California.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And we're one of their top, Jetty are one of their top brands on that platform. We also have 6, I believe, out of the top SKUs for PAX, which is also quite phenomenal. PAX being one of the most popular vaping devices, anywhere for that matter. So with Jetty, we have got an extraordinarily talented team. They've done a hell of a lot with not a lot of resources, and we just are so looking forward to kind of getting behind them and really pushing them, out across the state and becoming a dominant brand. And if you look at brands, in all different sectors, whether it's wine or chocolate or soap, it's usually the 15 to 20 brands, the top 15 to 20 brands control 80% of the market.
Right.
And that hasn't yet happened in the cannabis sector. It's still very fragmented because it's a new sector, but we see absolutely that happening. That trend is already beginning, and we want to be one of those top 15 brands.
Wow, sounds like you're on the way. Tell me about the deal structure. How much is it going to cost you to buy this company? What do their economics look like?
So the economics of the deal structure are that we paid them $22.5 million US with a $7.5 million performance earnout based on revenue milestones. The purchase price was approximately 2.5 times 2018 revenues, which is very fairly priced.
Sure.
So it had some what I call fundamental deal economics, but more importantly for us, it had what I call strategic value. We needed to be in California. California is going to be the biggest cannabis market in the world, in the biggest country, which is going to be the biggest cannabis market in the world. It's absolutely no doubt that the strongest brands are going to have roots in California.
Sure.
So people who are buying a cannabis product in Europe or Australia, for example, California resonates with people. It's iconic. It's Hollywood. It's Los Angeles. It's San Diego.
Where was invented.
Exactly. So so having a brand with its DNA in California to us was very, very important.
Very cool. So then, in terms of California, I mean that's one heck of a way to make a beachhead in California, is through a place that had 600 stores in 2017. Now, what kind of sales and revenue do those guys do?
Jetty or the stores?
Jetty.
Yeah, so this year they should be doing in the $12 to $15 million range.
Right.
And a lot of it will depend on their capacity and ability to grow, which is where we come in, because we can supply them with balance sheet strength, which will allow them to increase their capacity, to hire more salespeople. You know, that's one of the things that we conceived of when we started Cannex, was having that balance sheet strength to provide that extra horsepower to companies like Jetty, which have got to a certain stage, and now with the right team on side, in this case Cannex, you know, can ramp it up.
Sure.
And so we're very fortunate that we're not going to have to do a financing to make all of these commitments, these cash commitments to Jetty, because we A, generate cash already, quite a lot of it, out of our Washington operations, and B, we have a very strong balance sheet. So all in all, it's a perfect marriage.
Cool. We recently launched 4 indexes that track companies that are traded in Canada in the cannabis business, and we were surprised to see that apart from the largest companies, of which there are 8 with a market cap over 500 million, the best performing index is actually the CSE index. And it's actually outperformed both the TSX Venture Index and the Small Cap Index from our group of indices by double.
Wow.
And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, now why is that happening? Because people think of the CSE as the, you know, the lowest of the Canadian exchanges, but when you look at the performance, it's been double what the other ones have been. And I realized that what's happening is people fail to recognize that the CSE is where the best price deals start, and that's where they're able to perform because, you know, there's all this demand for cannabis stocks. So in terms of CNNX, which trades on the CSE,
Correct.
I mean, it looks to me like you still haven't really captured the market's attention, at least as reflected by your share price.
Absolutely not. And let's not forget that we've only been public for 6 weeks.
Right, okay.
And you are literally, you know, the first group that we've been talking to in terms of building any investor outreach. So, you know, we wanted to make sure that our fundamentals were strong, that we closed the transaction, you know. But, you know, if you look at the performance or the acknowledgement by the market, we set out to do a $25 million RTO financing, and we did $48 million. So, you know, that in of itself, I think, speaks to the belief that people have in the Cannex platform. But absolutely, I mean, one of the reasons that I'm here today talking to you is to, you know, tell the story of Cannex, which I personally think, and I'm of course a bit biased, is probably one of the best, if not the best, you know, U.S.-focused Cannex platform out there. And as you know, we work very closely with Beacon. Their analysts, their bankers have been very bullish on the U.S. opportunity for a long, long time. And, you know, let's face it, you know, the United States is 10 times bigger than Canada. California is the same size as Canada in terms of population. So, you know, I love Canada. I think the opportunities are great here, but long term, there's no doubt in my mind the bigger play is going to be the U.S.
All right. Let's leave it there for now. That's a great update. We'll come back to you shortly. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you, James.